best behavior, Dylan. The big boss is watching.
Big guys here.
Nervous.
Is there even football to...
Yes, we do have some football to talk about.
Got some really good games.
Thank God, we still do. Hey, welcome into the DJ Preps Football Preview Show. Brad Block with Dylan Barnes here to talk about high school football coming up this weekend. It's the playoffs still. Right. We are into the quarterfinal round for everybody, 1A through 6A. Of course, 1, 2, 1, 5, and 6 just got started last week, a week later than 2, 3, and 4. And of course, what we're going to do, as we always do on this program, is we'll look at 3 big games. We'll break them down. We'll make predictions, and we'll have the Double Trouble Award later on. And John Pitts over there off camera will probably chime in at some point to make us all laugh. John Luke McCord behind the camera. And Pizza Doctor is the sponsor, of course, as always. And this is what, the third year? I can't even remember now. Second, I think. Anyway, thank you to Pizza Doctor. You can find them in Tupelo at Midtown Point. Got me some Mexican pizza. It's got a little jalapeno on here. Do you like jalapenos?
Yeah, I like if they're chopped up small, which those are.
I'll eat them
those are
whole.
pretty good.
I'll eat them by themselves.
Yeah, I don't like them if they're like whole, like big rounds, like what concession stand nachos and stuff.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
Put hair in your chest. Okay, let's get the show rolling here. Let's look at last week's predictions. Dylan and I made the same exact predictions. We all picked the same winners. And I said, since I did that, hey, I'll go 3-0 because Dylan doesn't lose anymore. Well, didn't technically go 3-0, went 2-0 because, of course, Tupelo unfortunately had to forfeit its game with Warren Central due to the COVIDs. But we both went 2-0, so I basically called it. Right. You haven't lost since like week 2 or something.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 or 7 weeks in a row that I've missed on a game. So
cool.
Is the bat still over there? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it sure is, buddy. Yeah. So anyway, I'm 16-14 overall, so I'm over 500 finally. You're 24-6. Pretty good percentage. Okay, so 3 games to watch. We got we got a bunch of really, really good matchups, but we got time to look at 3, and these 3 I think will all be epic ball games. So let's start in Class 1A. You've got Tupelo Christian visiting Biggersville. TCPS is 8-2. They've won 8 in a row. Biggersville 11-0, undefeated, and division champs. And by the way, Biggersville beat TCPS back in the season opener. I think 41-26 was the final. I think this one will be a little closer, but we'll get to the prediction in a minute. First, the keys to the game. 3 keys. Key number 1: TCPS defense needs to show that it's for real. Okay, I mean, they've been improved this year. But let's remember, as I just mentioned, when they played Biggersville in the season opener, gave up 46 points. And defense has been, let's be honest, that's been the team's Achilles heel the last few years. As good as the offense has been, the defense has struggled. So the defense, I think, has definitely made improvements. But I want to see if they can, keep Biggersville below 40, and they got a shot to win. I think that's all they need to do. Key number 2 for Biggersville: be prudent in the passing game. TCPS, one thing they do well on defense is get turnovers. They've got 13 interceptions, Dylan, on the season, and again in 10 games. And so actually, I don't think they've actually played 10 because of forfeits. But anyway, now Biggersville, they don't throw it much, 6-7 times a game, And so
freshman quarterback, they kind of protect him, and they hadn't really needed to throw the ball. They've blown everybody out.
No, when you got Goldman Butler,
right,
and they're averaging like 50-something points a game,
right.
So
and they've picked their defense has sales pitched like 5 or 6 shutouts in the games they've played. Of course, there were shutouts in the 2 forfeits at the end of the year,
right,
or whatever that they got. But like in the games they've actually played, they had 4 or 5 shutouts as a defense. So Biggersville defenses can't be slept on either. So.
Right, exactly. So yeah, key number 3, always the most important. Will there be enough room for the TCPS parents to park all their oversized SUVs? Listen, I've had kids at TCPS almost every year since like 2002, so I can talk. I've never had an oversized SUV, but boy, let me tell you, TCPS parents, they drive boats, basically. If it's not a minivan, it's a boat that costs like $150,000 or something.
Good for them.
I don't know if Biggersville has enough parking.
You probably don't.
I mean, it's kind of a small place.
Yeah.
I don't know. Park side of the highway.
Yeah. Park at the barbecue shop.
Park down at the barbecue shop and walk. I don't know. Okay. Prediction time. Dylan and I will go first.
Go ahead.
Tough pick. I think TCPS, like I said, will make it a closer game. But this one's at Biggersville, and they've been playing so well on both sides of the ball. I cannot pick against the Lions. So I will take Biggersville in a shootout, 41-38.
I think you mentioned it, the previous score, first game of the year, 46-21, and Kai Holiday made some mistakes, had some interceptions, some like turnovers in the goal line. The TCPS about to score, had some turnovers there, so I think TCPS can clean some of those mistakes up and score more than they did in the first matchup. But I still I don't know if I trust that defense to stop Bearsville enough, and I think you hit that threshold of 40, and that's my prediction. I think Bearsville scores 42 and wins at 42-35.
There you go. Game number 1. On to game number 2 in 2A, East Webster at Calhoun City. East Webster 6-4, Cal City 8-2. These teams were supposed to meet in the regular season, but East Webster had to go into quarantine, and so they had to end up forfeiting that game to Cal City, which was too bad. But now they get to play each other here in the 2A playoffs, which is great. I mean, these are two really good teams with two really good offenses. So let's start with key number 1. Which team can better defend the run? Because both teams can run it well. East Webster averages 254 yards a game on the ground. Over the last 4 games, they're averaging 352.5 yards. They have been turning it up another notch toward the end of the season and into the playoffs. Calhoun City averages 208 rushing yards per game, so not as much as East Webster, but they also throw it better with Jackson Lee at quarterback. So I think to 150, 160 yards a game. So, that's strength on strength right there, Dillon. And, I haven't had a chance to see either of these teams, but you saw Cal City last week.
I saw Cal City last week, and they they definitely, it looks a lot different than the Calhoun City teams, I guess, that you've seen in the past. MD Jennings over there in his first year.
Right.
You kind of look at Perry Lyles over at Ripley, coming over from Calhoun City, and the foundation that he laid over there, and the offense that they run at Ripley being similar to what they used to do at Calhoun City, and it don't look nothing like that now at Cal City. So it was a different experience looking at it, but they're still just as explosive on offense. Jalen Hartberry is, he's one of the backs that, there's so many good running backs in this area and stuff, that he may be just one of them that's just another one that's getting slept on. He's pretty much almost every time he touched the ball last week, he almost scored. So he's special, and Stephen Betts they kind of just do it differently. Both of them are good running teams, but East Webster relies on their quarterback to run it, and Jackson Lee can run it too. But they like to hand the ball to number 5 and Hartberry and let him go, and he's pretty good. So
yeah, he is definitely. Key number 2, home field advantage. Calhoun City has not lost a playoff game at the Boneyard since 2012. That's 18 straight wins at home in the playoffs for Cal City. Not an easy place to play. I mean, it's got one of the better atmospheres around here. Now, it won't be the same because of COVID, limited capacity, but it's still a tough place to go.
There's still some trailers or something there in that one end zone where there's a ton of fans, and you'll have pit bulls and stuff barking at you down there. So it's intimidating, man. I guess, I don't know, maybe that's why they call it the Boneyard, because there's a bunch of pit bulls around the fence.
Did you ever play there?
Oh yeah. Calhoun City was in our division all 4 years when I was in high school, so. It never boded well for us to go down there and play them either. So we had 6 dudes leaving an ambulance one night. So I'm not kidding. That's some of it was broken foot and stuff, but still.
Jeez. Yeah.
But yeah, and when you talk about the stretches though too, Calhoun City's obviously we know their playoff success and stuff too, but against East Webster, they've won the last 10 matchups, including this year's forfeit. That counts as a win for them. So the last 10 times, they've been. And I talked to Coach Price. We did a story with him earlier this week, and he kind of just mentioned, he's like, at some point you got to get tired of being the stepbrother. He's like, you got to start manning up and fighting back and trying to break this trend. So we'll see if East Webster can get that done.
Key number 3, will East Webster be intimidated when they see all the trucks circling the town square? We've ever been to Calhoun City at night, and I'm a small town guy, so pretty much wherever I lived, this was a thing. Friday night, what are you going to do in a small town? Circle the square or the main drag downtown, whatever. That can be, you roll into town and those guys are circling and maybe they're yelling at you, or I don't know. It could be a thing.
We've really built up Calhoun City to the place, haven't we?
We have. Don't disappoint.
We talked about the pit bulls and the boneyard and
y'all better bring it.
Circling trucks. And,
That's right. Okay, prediction time. You go first.
All right. Well, I think this is really intriguing. I wish we had wish these two could have played in the regular season. And I had a better thought of how they kind of match up with each other. But I do think they match up pretty well. I just think Calhoun City's just kind of been there, done that. Hartberry is really good. They got Thomas Clayton, Jackson Lee. They got some weapons, and I just think their experience, been there, gets it done for them. 48-28, Calhoun City.
I'm with you, man. Cal City in the playoffs, hard to bet against them, and especially at home. So I'm going to go with the Wildcats as well. I'll say 35-28. Okay.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Game number 3. Corinth at Itawamba AHS. The defending 4A champs on the road. They're 6-3. The Indians are 7-3. 3 keys to the game, and this should be a really good game, by the way. Key number 1 for Corinth, ball security. I mean, you say this about anybody that plays Itawamba, because Itawamba has forced 38 turnovers. That's 4.2 per game. Okay, over 9 games. They've got a 7-3 record. They have 1 forfeit win in there in the playoffs against Clarksdale. So in the 9 games they played on the field, 38 turnovers. I mean, we've written about that and talked about that a lot this year. I mean, they got guys like Isaac Smith, who's just a turnover machine, 4 or 5 interceptions.
He's a sophomore, just picked up an offer from Ole Miss this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently his dad played at Ole Miss too back in the day. So it's in his lineage. And you talk about Isaac Smith, Tay Chandler. I've said it all year long. They're the best safety combo in our area. They are very, very good. So ball security.
Take care of it. Itawamba, key number 2 for Itawamba, limit the damage by Caden Betts. Corinth's Mr. Everything on offense. He's got over 1,500 yards from scrimmage, 23 touchdowns. I mean, he's the guy that makes that wing T offense go. I mean, they've got a solid quarterback in Bronner Krajine. They've got another good running back in Azarius Jones. But if you can somehow, I mean, Betts is going to do damage, but if you can limit it a little bit, that helps your case.
Right.
Yeah. Key number 3. I don't know why I came up with this one. Which head coach has the better dance moves, Todd Lowry or Clint Hoots? Who you thinking? Cut a rug.
I think Clint Hoots is so tall that it may feel like it's kind of awkward for him.
Yeah.
Whereas Todd's a little shorter, a little lower center of gravity. That if he did the Dougie or something, it would look a little more smoother. And Todd looks like he probably partied a little bit in college.
Oh, you think so?
He kind of has that vibe.
He's got that personality. That big personality.
He's so chill and just I can
see him.
Yeah, I feel like
breaking it down. So, okay, so the winning coach this weekend has to dance in the locker room afterwards, and we want video.
Heck yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, is there no video of Lowry maybe dancing to a state title tune last year?
I have to go look that up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not saying I've seen one or recall one, but maybe he's already.
You're going to be there, right?
I'll be there.
Yeah, you just go in there.
I'll go in the winning locker room.
Yeah.
Give me some video. Somebody.
Look somewhere between Mac Brown and
honestly,
I'm
breakdancing or something.
Honestly, I'm jealous of you. I want you to film the whole game and just send me this, just video the whole game and send it to me, because I do want to see this.
Oh yeah, and so let's make predictions on this one. I will go first, and Corinth is the defending champ. Very good with that wing T, but I got a feeling about this Itawamba team. That defense is so good, and I tend to take really good defenses over really good offenses, especially when the defense is at home. So I'm going to say Itawamba in this one. I'm going to say 28-27.
I told you a while ago, I've been back and forth on this one. I think this is going to be really close, really good game. This was third-round matchup last year, and that was what both teams went entered last year 13-0, I think, before they saw each other in that game. I think it's going to be another instant classic, maybe the game of the year. But I think Caden Betts he has been so special all year long, and I think he does something late in the fourth quarter and helps them pull away, and it's 35-31 Corinth. And a chance to get it done.
All right. Looks like I'll lose another game, because he never loses. Okay, let's close it out with the Double Trouble Award. The best 1-2 combo from last week. It goes to Stephen Betts and Tyreek Pittman of East Webster, and that wild 52-50 double overtime win over Walnut. I mean, good heavens, that was a crazy game apparently.
Yeah, that was.
Wish I could have seen that one. But yeah, the quarterback Betts, he was 9 of 13 passing for 245 yards and a touchdown, and he had 20 carries for 175 yards and 4 touchdowns. I believe he scored both TDs in overtime.
And the two-point conversions.
And the two-point conversions, yeah. So a big game by him. And then Pittman, the running back, had 13 carries, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns for East Webster in that win. So congrats to them. And that's all the time we got for this episode of the DJ Preps Football Preview Show, coming to you every Wednesday. You can find us right here at djournal.com. Also check out our podcast Prep Rally, also every Wednesday. Find it in iTunes, any of your podcast apps, or online at preprally.djournal.com. Follow us on Twitter at DJournalPreps. He's on there at Dylan Barnes DJ. I'm on there at Brad Locke. And thanks again to Pizza Doctor for sponsoring the program. Find them in Tupelo at Midtown Point. And this is going to be too easy, John Luke. It's so close.
It's so close, yeah.
See you next week.
Boom.